We present this distinguished honor and appreciation for the humanitarian efforts and admiration of her business achievements. On a personal note, I need to tell you, I've been friends with this lady for a long, long time. I have watched her firsthand. I've watched her impact and influence in our world. She never says no when you call her to do anything and everything that helps humanity in every quadrant of America and every quadrant of the world. If there's somebody I'd like for our students to sort of emulate and learn to be like, it is indeed the Honorable Ambassador Mani McElveen Hunter. Would you please welcome her now to bring a few words of encouragement to our students.
My goodness, I feel a little over-introduced. You know, when Nito texted me and said there was a 70% chance of rain, I have a friend named Dr. Joe Mullen, who was my minister. And every time I had an outside event, I would call Joe and say, I think you may have the best connections with the big guy. Could you please give us good weather? And about the 38th time I asked him, he reminded me, this is, Bonnie, the 39th time you've asked me the same question. I want to remind you, I'm in sales, not management. Today, I think he had a little impact on this gorgeous day. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, deans and faculty members, Chairman Chris Henson, overextended parents, and exhausted but jubilant students, I'm honored to be addressing you today from a university with 250% growth in enrollment, 450% increase in campus size, 420% growth in faculty, and 1,000% growth in revenue and net assets, all since 2005. High Point University is on the global map for transforming education. Yes, of course, it takes a village. However, when God wants to change a family, an institution, or a nation, his strategy is always the same. He puts a special person into a strategic place who can make a difference. One faithful, risk-taking visionary, willing to think outside the box, is all God needs to change the landscape of the world. I think you will agree and join me in saying thank you to President Nito Qubein. Thank you for that incredible introduction of so many things. My goodness, it made me think about the time Henry Kissinger came to visit me in Helsinki, and I asked the president, Tarja Halonen, who had just introduced him, I said, would you maybe tell me what you said in your introduction? And she said, well, don't say what I said. And I said, well, what did you say? She said, I said a man who needs no introduction. To which he said, yeah, but I kind of like all that stuff. So I stand before you as a grateful American, a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, a business owner, a former U.S. ambassador to Finland, yes, better known as the Frozen Chosen. And by the way, I learned there were two critical elements to successful diplomacy in Finland: protocol and alcohol. I'm proud to currently serve in my 19th year at the request of 4 different presidents of the United States, as chairman of the board of the American Red Cross, one of the greatest humanitarian organizations in the world, an organization reaching out to the least, the last, and the lost at their most critical hour of need. I'm honored to congratulate each of you brilliantly erudite, mesmerizingly sagacious, cerebrally beguiling graduates. By the way, I asked ChatGPT if there was anything that it would like to say to you all on your graduation day, and here's what it said. High Point University, #1 in innovative learning, where academic life skills are taught with care. Brilliant professors guide students yearning for success, their dreams to share. From a place where God, country, family, honor, and perseverance are pursued with heart, our future lies in your capable hands. With hard work and God's grace, anything can be achieved, a noble art. So let us raise our voice in praise to a place that molds us with its grace. High Point University, where many fountains flow in praise, a shining light in our future, we will always embrace. So all of you are the future generation of celebrating a nation that recognizes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. No apologies from me on American exceptionalism. I believe it. I know it's true. And HPU is resounding evidence of family, faith, country, capitalism, and the free enterprise system. Many of you have your wonderful parents with you and grandparents today. Mark Twain said when he was 18, he thought his father was colossally stupid. But when he got to 21, he was amazed how much his father had learned in only 3 years. You, like me, will continue to be amazed at how wise your parents really are. I'd like to take a moment to also thank, from the bottom of my heart, Bob Brown, the former chairman of the Board of Trustees for High Point University, and LaTanya, who are here today. Graduates, you may not realize the heroic Americans that are part of HPU family. Bob Brown is one of them. He worked for Martin Luther King on desegregation, and he was a trusted advisor to Nelson Mandela in ending apartheid, and even paid to educate Mandela's children in college here in America when Mandela was in prison. But there's something else you should know. I met Bob 30 years ago at an IGA conference in Palm Springs. He was a keynote speaker, and I was inspired by his words, which I'd like to share with you this morning. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone can destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you have anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it's between you and your God. It was never between you and them anyway. Bob Brown used to arrive at my home on many Sunday afternoons in Greensboro, North Carolina, where my mother lived with me after having a stroke and losing her ability to speak and was confined to a hospital bed. His arms were full of bouquets of beautiful different colored flowers. Yes, all from Costco, with the price tag still attached, and he would sit next to her and tell her how much he loved her. Isn't it true? People forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Bob made my mother and me feel loved, as he does every person he meets. Perhaps learning how to make people feel loved and appreciated is one of the most important lessons you will learn today. I'd like to ask Bob if he would stand so that we could recognize him. Now, I wondered what in the world had given me this incredible opportunity and privilege to speak to all of you today, and I could hear my mother saying, "Honey, it was divine intervention. You had great parents." My father was one of the original 7 U-2 pilots, truly one of America's great heroes and first astronauts, who flew over Russia at the height of the Cold War and over Cuba during the Cuban crisis. Never had I imagined the privilege that I would serve someday beneath those skies in Finland as a United States ambassador. Although my mother and father are both in the Lord's loving arms, I can feel their spirit with me in this very moment. I grew up in a military family, moving every 18 to 24 months, living in 8 states in Germany. I grew up rich in every way except money. My mother, Madeline McElveen, was the mirror that taught us to look for the good in others and to see God's hand in everything. Disciplined and unyielding her expectations of her children and her students, she instilled in all of us the power of personal courage, setting goals and achieving them, the nobility and necessity of service, and the sanctity of family. My mother was very direct in her choices. She would say, "You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it." She hated the word, "I'll try." All of her life, Mother had been told by her 4 brothers that she was ugly, and she looked just like a giraffe. So growing up as the youngest, she was convinced her older brothers must be right. In fact, she was so self-conscious that about her long neck that she would swim with a towel around it. My mother was one of 8 children and the first to go to college. And while attending Winthrop College, she was thrilled to learn one of her heroes, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was coming to speak. She was finally going to meet someone uglier than she was. My mother went hours early to make sure she could get a seat on the front row. When Eleanor arrived, Mother said she was not disappointed. Eleanor Roosevelt was ugly. However, when she started to speak, Mrs. Roosevelt became one of the most beautiful women my mother had ever seen. That day, Eleanor said something that transformed my mother's life and then mine as well. No one can make you feel anything without your consent. Not inferior, not insignificant, not even ugly. She taught us that we never walk alone and taught us to pray. I can see her kneeling beside her bed with her large print white Bible open. There was no prayer too large or insignificant. Yes, she even prayed for parking spaces. Some people are so heavenly bound they're no earthly good, but Mother was earthly good, and her passion was really for all of you, for her students, and for preparing for success in your life. Everyone has a foundation upon which they build their life. My foundation was built on my mother's pearls of wisdom, and I'd like to share them with you. Time is precious. Use it wisely. Mediocrity is the greatest sin. Work is the greatest privilege. Failure is a comma, never a period. And can't is a word that does not exist. In fact, my mother had my brother, sister, and I write the word can't on a piece of paper, put it in a shoebox, took a shovel to the backyard in Bossier City, Louisiana, instructed us to dig a hole, put the shoebox with the words can't in them, and we buried them in Bossier City, Louisiana. So when someone says to me it can't be done, I think it has already received full burial rites. When I graduated from Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri, the commencement address was given by Betty Friedan, the author of The Feminine Mystique. I don't remember any details of the message except one critical piece of information. The only limitation on your success is self-inflicted. Let me say that again. The only limitation on your success is self-inflicted. In October of 1972, at the age of 22, wearing a polyester pantsuit and driving a powder blue Pinto, I thought was the ultimate driving machine. I moved to Greensboro City. I had visited only once to start Pace magazine for an airline called Piedmont. Little did I know I had heeded my grandfather's very wise advice. It's more important to select your partners than to select your business. Pace started with 1.5 employees, myself and a part-time assistant, and this year, I'm proud to say, we will turn 50 years old. But I'm not only proud of what we do, it's who we are and how we do it. We have built Habitat for Humanity houses. We started the first women's $1 billion leadership giving for United Way, now called Women United, which is, by the way, on its second $1 billion. And we tithe 15% of our income to our community. This is to plant a seed because someday you will know, as I know now, that all you ever really keep is what you give away. Success can only truly be enjoyed when it's partnered with significance. Mother taught my brother, sister, and me that there are basically 2 days, most important days in your life, the day you're born and the day you understand why. She also taught us to look up pray up, and stand up for what is right. Every one of you will be called to do something in this life. And we all need for the future to realize that we are pencils in the hand of a divine creator, and hoping that those letters are love letters to a broken world. All of us come to the revelation that it is in our inadequacy, insignificance, and brokenness that God meets us at our greatest hour of need. He uses us and loves us, even when we do not love and acknowledge him in return. Some of you here today will be called to do great things, but all of us are called to do small things with great love. I'm grateful for the life as an entrepreneur, which opened the door to diplomacy and then the world of philanthropy, and has given me the privilege to stand before you. But I confess to you, in those quiet moments of reflection on my own life, I do sometimes wonder whether I've really made a difference. The applause dies. Achievements are forgotten. Many of us will never achieve national acclaim, and there may even be a nagging suspicion somehow we could have done better and achieved more. But what will you remember? Name the 5 wealthiest people in the world. Name the person who split the atom. Name 5 people who have won the Nobel or Pulitzer Prize. How'd you do? The point is, none of us remember headlines of yesterday. These are no second-rate achievers. They were the best in their fields. But I wonder, will you remember these? Name a teacher who aided your journey through school. Name one person at High Point University who gave you a helping hand in a time of need. Name a soldier, perhaps a family member, who fought to secure freedom for you and me. Easier? The lessons is really that people who make a difference in our lives are not the ones with the most credentials or the most money or the most awards. They are the ones who care and put their caring into action. At every dinner in Helsinki, as we entertained guests from around the world and our Finnish friends, my mother would ask the guests to express their gratitude and caring by calling their mother when they got home and telling her, "I love you." Don't forget this weekend to express your gratitude. Tell your mother, father, a teacher, or someone who believes in you, tell them, "I love you." You will be glad you did. Today, graduates, I hope that I have challenged you to perhaps dare more boldly and to venture onto wider seas, because the road to success is not straight. There is a curve called failure, a loop called confusion, speed bumps called friends, red lights called enemies, and caution lights called family. You will have flats called jobs, but if you have a spare called determination, an engine called perseverance, insurance called faith, and a driver called God, you will make it to a place called success, and most importantly, significance. Thank you for the honor of being with all of you today. May God bless each of you at High Point University, and may God bless America.
Madam Ambassador, thank you very much for the wisdom of your words and modeling of your example. We appreciate you deeply, and we thank you for your friendship to High Point University. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the moment